Can all of you could see?
It's coming. We're on the, oh yes, we're in. So over to you, Leny.
Okay, thanks. So thanks, Ed, for your presentation. So I will mention some aspects that could touch some aspects that Seb mentioned. And first of all, well, for me, it's important to understand a little bit how we conceive the causes of climate change and extractivism, or this ecological crisis. So I will make a brief introduction of how we understand this, and then I will talk about two specific cases on which we are working in the south of Peru, which put some as a concrete examples of what's really happening behind these discourses of energy transitions and so on. So so for me to talk about the causes of climate change, for me it's important to understand first what's the concept of, I would like to mention this concept of Anthropocene that many of you heard about, of course, and which was popularized by Paul Crutzen, who defines that it's neo-geological epoch characterized by enormous impact of humanity on nature that would have started with industrialization, right? So the problem with this interpretation is that humanity, it looks like something homogeneous or something abstract. And for us, it's important, it's worth asking, is it the case that all human beings are equally responsible for this social and environmental crisis, which is not. So for me, no, of course, and however, such a conception places a woman, for example, and street market vendor, for example, at the same level of responsibility as a corporation, for example. So when I'm listening to you, when you're talking about lifestyles, for me, it's important to know that it's the choices of what we consume are important, but it's not enough, because there are other responsibilities, and so it's not just human beings. There are concrete responsibles behind what's happening now, and we have different responsibilities. So and also another critique that we have to this idea is that the concept, this concept reinforces an idea that ignores what Seb was mentioning, the historical causes of social injustices, the forms of domination, exploitation, and violence that that is still present in our lives. So this concept ignores these historical power relations that was configured based on colonization, and where other dominant systems is still there, like patriarchy also. So so for us in TerraJusta, we make a big debate around how we understand that, so that we can work in a different way with the communities. So for me, it would be more useful to use this term that Jason Morse talks about, and based on these critiques, who mentioned that instead of this term, it should be capitalocene instead of Anthropocene. So that's why for me it's more assertive, because there's a big responsibility on the corporations, and we have, of course, another type of responsibility, but we have to be conscious that, for example, Latin America, which we called before Abya Yala, was the first colony of modern Europe, and today it's still part of the periphery, and Europe's still the center. So we're still living these relationships, power relations. So, for example, capitalism from this conception could not have been developed without colonization in Latin America, and of course the expropriation also of peasants' land in Europe, slavery in Africa, and the witch hunts of the 16th and 17th centuries in Europe and in Latin America also during the colonization. So the next one, please, Seb. So just as an introduction, and now I would like to introduce two cases. One of them is both are in Peru. And just to make a little context first, Peru, well, the 31% of the Peruvian population are exposed to heavy metals and other toxic substances. Just right in the past month, it was a Congress, the first Congress of all the people who are affected by heavy metals that they have in their blood, and this population is increasing more and more because of the intensification of mining projects and other type of extractive projects in the region. So the next one, please. So in one of the cases that I would like to mention, it's the one that has to do with lithium and uranium mining. In one community in Puno, Peru, which we are more closed, and we can with some frequency be in the territory. So this case was part of a report that we made that Kate sent up to all of you, which is called No Reprieve for Life and Territory, COVID-19 and Resistance to the Mining Pandemic. So this study was based on case studies from 9 Latin American countries that we, as TerraJusta and with other allies, developed. And in one of the countries is Peru. And we mainly examine how governments and mining companies are taking advantage, took advantage of this of the COVID pandemic to position aggressive mining expansion as something essential for economic revival and energy transitions, as it would be the only solution. So the report also highlights that the mining sector, especially metal mining, has experienced an economic boom. So everybody was indebted, but so this discourse that's saying that COVID-19 affects us all of us, it's not true. Of course, the mining companies had very good economic benefits, and while the communities and people were still suffering, of course, the consequences of multiple and interrelated crises, because this was not the big first crisis. They were of course already living many other crises that has to do with social, economic, health, environmental, and violence, right? So I would like to show a short video about this case, and then just to emphasize on some of the problems that we identify. So please, if you can just put play in that window, which is already in the presentation, the video.
Okay.
Or if not, it's the link that I already sent to you, but it should appear, yeah, like the video directly in the presentation.
Yeah, I might have to do this.
Just that, thanks.
Okay.
That's the
Content.
And while Seb is trying to show that, thanks for that. So I would like to mention also that, yeah, can you listen?
Okay.
Thanks.
Oh goodness. Sorry. Okay.
Did you listen the sound? No.
No, the sound is not really coming through.
Okay, let me.
Yeah, while Seppi adjusts the sound, I would just want to mention that 7 Quechua small farmers are communities are based on this area that will be affected by extraction of lithium and uranium, but of course many other communities in a different ways, and so let's see now if it's working, and you can see a little about that.
Subsidiary of Canadian mining company American Lithium, has 167 mining concessions for lithium and uranium projects, covering 93,000 hectares of concessions between the provinces of Carabaya and Melgar in the department of Puno and province of Canchis of the department of Cusco. This vast extension of concessions overlaps with the snow Cape Quilcaya Glacier and its surroundings. Quilcaya is the largest tropical glacier in the world. It is located at more than 5,600 meters above sea level, between the territories of the district of Corani Puno and the province of Canchis Cusco. Its extension exceeds 17 kilometers long, an area of 44 square kilometers, and its ice cap is 200 meters thick. Since 1974, it has been considered a global thermometer to take stock of global warming. The snow cape waters contribute to the formation of rivers, lagoons, streams, and wetlands. They also supply fresh water to the inhabitants who live around the Snow Cape Mountains, its ecosystems, and the rich biodiversity of the area. In order to determine the extent of mineralization, the Macusani Yellowcake Mining Company is proposing a 58,200 meters diamond drilling program just meters from the Snow Cape Quilcaya. The program will be distributed in 40 drilling platforms of Quilcaya Exploration Project, thereby putting the existing biodiversity in the area at grave risk. For their part, the Ministry of Energy and Mines and the National Water Authority issued a not favorable decision to the environmental impact statement presented by the Macusani Yellowcake Company in 2021 in its attempt to obtain an exploration license for the Quilcaya project. Meanwhile, the American Lithium Mining Company presents its project as a clean, safe, and sustainable energy alternative for the Americas, completely ignoring the effects that its open-pit exploitation may cause to all sources of fresh water from the snowy Quilcaya Glacier. The energy transition is unfair when it means sacrificing the largest tropical glacier in the world, the Snow Cape Quilcaya.
Thanks, Eb. So just to complement the problems that we found in this report, it was that there's a lack of information about this project on the communities, and during the pandemic, they took advantage to go far in the making many other activities. And so the company have a new strategy that was to dismantle communal organizations, divide local population, and cope the community leaders as their allies, leaving aside the majority of the population. Of course, in the middle of the crisis, they took advantage of that. Also, currently, there is not a specific legislation governing the exploitation of lithium and uranium in Peru, which should be defined first before making any concession to any company, but it didn't happen. So also a lawyer in a local lawyer, who is Rodrigo Lauracio, says that Macusen Yellowcake has carried out exploitation activities for lithium and uranium minerals without having an accredited environmental impact study. So there are many aspects that they try to put aside and take advantage during the pandemic. So now they are, because of this video that was viralized in the networks, and also this, sorry, there's also other archaeological sites outside of the area, and many pictures like this one and it was also declared as a national reserve. But when companies are interested, so all those agreements are not important even for the government. So recently the website of the local partner was hacked. They lose their information. They are just making another, creating a new one and trying to save the information that they can. So whoever is trying to do something in the territory, the company identifying directly, and that's why TerraJusta, for us, it's important to make concrete actions with our allies in the north who are following these enterprises and these corporations, and also making alliances with other cases in Latin America, because they alone can confront to the company, especially when the people are clear about what they want, but the government sometimes make more, well, the constitutions are made in favor of the companies also. No, Peru is one of the countries that decided to be part of acuerdos de libre comercio. Sorry if you can say that in English.
Free trade agreement.
Yeah, sorry, that's it. So that's one of the cases, and the other one, sorry, I think I don't have so much time. If you can go to the next one. The other one is Quellaveco. So as you can see, Anglo-American wants to make emphasis in transition. They think that they want to provide clean energy in the Americas. So, for example, in Colombia, in Cerrejón, they decided to be out of the Cerrejón because they were part of this mining coal project, and because they want to now make more investments in copper. So now this, like in Peru and Chile, so one of the other cases that in this case now it's copper, and this is another mining project which is in Puno also, and now they are they are registered in Peru, but the main shareholder is in London. So many of you maybe know them, but this company is the 5th largest mining company in the world. So they with many operations in the country, in many countries around the world, but in South America, it's Colombia, Chile, Peru, Brazil. So so this project, which is the name is Quellaveco, began the construction in 2018. Can you go to the next one, please? And they should be starting this year. So they already make some constructions, and yeah, but the thing is that one thing is what the companies say versus what's really happening in the territory. So Anglo-American usually says that they talk about a lot of responsibility and the values of that, and they are taking full responsibility for their decisions. But what's really happening in the territory is it's not, it's the opposite. So in April 15, Anglo-America announced its commitment of using 100 renewable energy that I was mentioning before, and that's why they have this big discourse in the country. But we will see what's happening right now. Can we go to the next one, please? So the responsible, for example, well, Peru already have many mining environmental liabilities, and they don't know, there's no responsibles about that. So that's why it's one of the causes of how many people now are affected by toxic metals in their blood. So it's ranking in the third one in the list of in the region, is like the third one with the highest number of environmental mining liabilities. And in Moquegua, where this project will operate this year, so they are already serious health impacts, because there are another mining projects very close, like 10 kilometers, for example, and which become now more evident, especially with children, due to the presence of heavy metals. Of course, the government before didn't recognize the causes of these problems in health of the people. They were always associating with maybe mothers are not eating well their sons or things like that, but not recognizing that has to do with as a consequence of the activities of the mining project. So sorry, someone said something in the chat I couldn't see.
Sorry, it was me. I was just saying we're running a little short on time, so I wonder if we, I'm not sure how many more slides you were going to show.
It's the last one.
Okay, awesome. Continue then.
I just wanted to end saying that if energy and material consumption levels in the global north are not drastically reduced, the energy transition would pose even more threats to mining affected peoples, as you see, and as Seb mentioned. And so as you see, therefore, these communities have to cope with the impacts of mining and climate crisis that exacerbates the impacts of mining on water, land, social and cultural aspects in the territories, and also more risk in their lives. Yeah, that's it. Thanks.